What's up, everybody? This is MLS Benny Samuel, and today we will be talking about the importance to convert data storage from hard copy to soft copy. We admit that in this modern age, a lot of hospitals have been able to switch from hard copy to soft copy using various hospital management systems. However, it's worth noting that some facilities still do not have these hospital management system, and so the labs are still storing the data using notebooks, and for some of them too, the hospital management system may not be able to does not have the laboratory aspect functioning, so labs still continue to save their data in books. But to be able to do proper data analysis, there is a need to switch to soft copy. Now, some labs have done well and have been capturing data using Excel. This is a great tool because at the end of the day, the data that we have captured, the analysis that we have studied so far, is done using data in Excel. However, personally, I acknowledge some challenge capturing data with Excel because number one, you have to type everything in by yourself. You can't give it an option. Let's say for malaria RDT, if you were using Access, for instance, you'd have the option to input positive and negative, and so you just select instead of typing positive all the time. And this helps to do away with typographical errors for most of the cases. For instance, dates like this, you'd have to type it in, and different date format can be an issue. But if you are using Access, you would select the date, and you don't have issue with date. Another thing about Excel is, for instance, I have just a few topics, okay? But imagine that the lab test, this is for a hematology lab. You can imagine the list. And so if, for instance, the list goes up to, let's say, this place, it means that for one client, you have to search through all these columns just to locate a column for a particular test to type in. But this can be reduced and made easier with Access. So today I just came to propose using Access to capture data. Of course, I could render training on how to design something like this for your lab, but today I just came to demonstrate one of the Access products I designed for a facility. So the first thing is to talk about, if you look at the left hand side here, I have tables, I have queries, and then I have forms. For now, let's focus on the forms. So if I select the first form, which is the name, for instance, so a client walks into the lab, okay, and we want to capture the details. Immediately I select the date, this calendar shows up, and I can select today's date, right? Then the hospital number. So let's say for the lab number, so pathology number is, let's say, PN001. Then I can go to the next. The name is Apia Minta, and the age is 25. The sex, like I was talking about, you can easily select male or female, right? Or if I type M, male will come. Then it does away with typographical errors. So we can also input the various departments at your facility. So let's say this person is coming from OPD, and this person is a cash client. Okay, so cash. Then let's say the person, so I'm adding to the list. So yes, cash is now included. So cash. Then the receipt number, let's say, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, after which you can save it. Yes. So now that this client is saved, for any other test that we do, since it is the pathology number at the lab that runs through, that number is what will be used when the results are ready. So let's say that the client was doing routine tests at the hematology lab. So if you go to general over here, the first thing you do is to still input the date, today's date, then the pathology number, which is PN001. It is important that you get it right because all other entries will be linked to this pathology number. Let's say the client came in and did blood group, so it was B negative. Okay, then we save it. If this same client was doing some general chemistry test, for instance, you go to the general chemistry platform, you select the date, you input the pathology number for this patient, then you enter the test the person did. So let's say the person did CKMB, or the person did glucose test, for instance, so 4.7. Right, then we save it. So you do same for the other buttons as well. If the person was doing maybe for DM clinics, so this was created specifically for the facilities DM clinics. So on that day, once you register the client, you come to the sugars and enter the results. For semen analysis, this was the data that the facility wanted to capture. For film comment, this was the data the facility wanted to capture. Then the Hep B profile, the same thing. All right, so let's say the client we're talking about also did Hep B profile. So the same pathological number. So this is positive. You can use tab to go to the next button. Positive, negative, 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 positive. So this is a low effectivity carrier. Then we save. So the same for multi-drug test, right? So regardless of the number of books that you are currently using, an access file can be designed following how you capture your data in the books, and then it can be created in that manner so that the switch from hard copy to soft copy is made easier. This was also designed to capture blood as well. So for donations of blood received at the lab, they are entered here, and then when the blood is received or picked up by nurses for transfusion, it is also captured here. Now, using the forms is quite easier, but for those who are used to capturing data in Excel, you can equally use the tables here. So for any new client, you come to the table and do your entries. Now, if you would observe, the Apiaminka we entered is here, right? So we entered results for Apiaminka under general. If you look for PN001, that data is present here, and we captured for blood group, right? And it's there. So instead of scrolling back and forth looking for where to enter your data, everything can be captured using the forms. So we entered another result for Apiaminka under glucose, right? So when you come here, this is Apiaminka line, and there is the glucose value that we entered. So like I said, for those who are used to Excel, you can do the entries here, and it will give you that option for places where you have to enter negative or positive. You can easily click the first word, and then that option will come, or when you're on that line, the drop down button will be there for you to select. So it's quite easy. And then whatever entries you have made at the end of the day, for the sake of security reasons, that is why we decided to separate the names from the other books, and then to be able to link it up. Access gives you that option. So let's say this is your hematology book. At the end of the day, the data is fused together. So this is Apiamika. The name appears here, and the blood group that we entered is here. So now if you look at the chemistry book, the Apiamika entry that we made, it's also here for the glucose, right? So this is a template of what I designed for a facility. And if you would want to adopt it at your facility, there is that option to do that. This will be made available. And if you want this to be designed to suit your facility's data capturing needs, of course, that arrangement too can be made. So as you can see, the access, the books have been joined together, and the various entries made so far have been captured nicely on the system. If you open the chemistry book, the same thing, data have been captured nicely. If you open to the sugars book, same, the blood bank, the multi-drug, the semen analysis. So this works pretty fine. And of course, at the end of the day, you can easily export this data. Okay, you can easily export the data. You can easily export this data to Excel, right? And then you would be able to do your analysis. So you can easily right click that. You can easily right click, go to export it as an Excel file, and then you can follow up with the data analysis that we have taught so far. So thank you very much for today.